This episode is brought to you by Google Pixel, the official fan phone of the NBA and WNBA. The new Pixel 8 and Pixel 8 Pro are built different. How? Take the Audio Magic Eraser tool. It helps block out distracting crowd noise so your play-by-play commentary sounds crystal clear. The only phone engineered by Google brings out the audio you care about so your videos sound as crisp as they look. Learn more at googlestore.com/pixelnba. Audio Magic Eraser requires Google Photos app. May not work on all audio elements.
Alright, what's up guys? Welcome to another episode of the TMossBoss Show. And in today's episode, this episode, it's an idea for me, but it's also for a friend of mine. I wanted to shout out a good friend of mine. His name is Mick Fields. He is a Twitch streamer, but I think currently right now he's taking a break. I seen he was making a tweet talking about that, but no, I wanted to do I had did this thing on Instagram like last week where I was asking people, hey, give me podcast episode ideas. And one of the ideas that he wanted was a wrestling episode. So I was like, you know what? It's funny because I think it was that day of, or it might have been a few days prior before, I was trying to do a wrestling episode, but I kept messing up, kept having to do multiple takes. And I find myself doing that a lot recently, and I'm like, you know what? If I mess up, I mess up. I feel like that's like, those are when I do like the best episodes, is when I'm like, okay, you know what? I don't care. I'm just going to go in and just say whatever. I feel like when I just have a don't care attitude with something, and I just go in just saying and doing whatever, I feel like that's when I produce some of my best content. So that's how you become a great content creator. Don't care, okay? Like, do not care about the product, don't care about the quality, don't care about none of that. Just work, okay? So, but anyways, no, actually what I wanted to talk on is the difference between AEW and WWE. If you want to involve other wrestling promotions in the mix of it, you can. But I mean, I really don't know really like any other company that's like competing with those two companies. Like, no, and it's no disrespect to any other company out there, but like, for years now, okay, ever since I was getting into wrestling, there was no other wrestling company out there that could compete. Now, the only ones that I would hear about before when AEW was created, the only one that I would really hear about is New Japan Pro Wrestling. That was it. That was the only one out there that was like, oh, okay, like they got some guys there. And then AEW came out, and when I was seeing videos of AEW, I was like, fam, this is what got me into wrestling in the first place. And when I watched, and that's why I wanted to overall, like, why I wanted to talk on the differences between them, because there's differences. Like, for those out there is wondering, like, what you mean? They're both wrestling shows. How are they different? No, trust me, they are different. If you are a wrestling fan, you're either watching both or you're watching one or the other, because there's one that brings in like something. Because here's my thing, and it's no disrespect to WWE wrestlers. I mean, WWE, obviously they're gonna hire somebody that's good at something. You know, whether it's behind the scenes, out in the, you know, stage and stuff, like, you're good at something. And I feel like with AEW is more so focused on the, like, just professionalism in wrestling. You can see, like, it's like they can take bumps and hits and all that stuff. I'm saying, like, with WWE wrestlers, they can too. But me personally, I feel like that with AEW, like, alright, so for an example, during the pandemic, when WWE, like, and that's the thing where it's like, I love that, you know, that just extra that WWE goes when they're trying to produce a show. Like, having it where wrestlers are falling from stages, but they don't show the wrestler hitting the ground, but then when they cut to them, like, yeah, they're all, like, laid out and stuff, like, oh, yeah, they just took, like, a direct hit to the floor and things, and they didn't. But that's what I love about, like, WWE, is that they add that, they do that, like, they show that, they give you that, like, what are the words I'm trying to say? They give you that imagination that like you're picturing and stuff. With AEW though, on the other hand, you got these guys that's like doing these crazy and wild stunts where it's like, fam, it seems almost unreal that these wrestlers can take these hits and take these bumps and produce these shows and have these great matches. Like, that's the one thing that I have to say about Tony Khan, is that Tony Khan can have some like matches go down and it's like, wow, that was good. Like, no, those are some good matches. Like, that was perfect. I like that. And then with WWE, on the other hand, like, it takes, they'll give you two wrestlers and they will create something from those two wrestlers. And I feel like with AEW, they're using, you know, like that, them like wrestlers, like, not so much as their background, but like just, I guess, like their, not fame either. Like, there's like a word I'm trying to think of, and I cannot think of it. I'm just having a moment right now. But they're using like that pizzazz, I guess. I don't know. That is the only word that I honestly can think of. But no, they're using like that wrestlers, like, you know, their level of skill going up against another highly skilled that you know the fans are going to be behind it, and you know the fans are going to love the crap out of that match. And they, yeah, you know, they're overall going to be like, hey, yo, this is dope. I like this. You know, like, they got, like, these top-tier level wrestlers where, like, we know about their history. We know what they're capable of. We know what they can do. We've seen them in these OMG wrestling moments on YouTube and stuff. Like, we know of that guy. That guy is crazy. That guy can do some stuff. They can have some crazy, wild matches. And then that's another thing where it's, like, a lot of those matches comes off as, like, pay-per-view matches. Like, I feel like those matches that they'll have like on AEW on Wednesdays or Rampage on Fridays, like those, because just recently they just announced for tomorrow that the wrestling match that they're gonna have is Keith Lee going up against, I can't even think of the other guy's name, but I'm like, fam, like it's gonna be a good match. Like, nah, that match look like it's gonna be like a top tier level match, and you, like I'm saying, like I honestly, I can't wait for that. It's gonna probably be a quick match, but still though, I'm like, the fact that it's happening, the fact that we're seeing it, and it's not being shown like when these guys are, you know, pushing like 50, 60 years old and stuff, and these guys are too old to even do the things that they're capable of. Like, no, I'm saying, like, this looks like it's gonna be a good match. I do feel like that AEW is like, alright, so if I can like make a better example out of like AEW and WWE, 100%, that's Disneyland, right? That's Disneyland. AEW is Universal Studios, alright? Because I like Universal Studios. Like, my own personal opinion, I'm like, I will always take a trip to Disneyland, no problem. But I'm saying, if Universal Studios, if I have the time, if I have the energy, you best believe I'm going to some Universal Studios. But no, I'm saying, like, it's just, to me, there's more, not saying that WWE doesn't have like entertainment, but if we were comparing like old WWE to like AEW now, it would just, I honestly feel like that, like, if we're talking on like during the time when Stone Cold was in his prime, The Rock was in his prime, Mankind, Undertaker, like you had like all these like top tier level wrestlers versus these guys that's like they're underground. You know, like a underground wrestler ain't, you know, a good underground wrestler isn't going to compete with a good wrestler, like a good mainstream wrestler. Like, you know, there's no comparison with it, because it's gonna be hard for like somebody. So let's say if Daniel Bryan was to come out during the time when like The Rock and, you know, Hulk Hogan was having like their was it? There was, because when they showed that video of the Hulk, it was. I don't know why I was thinking it was Stone Cold Steve. They might. I did not watch wrestling when growing up, so like a lot of those like matches, and I'm just now seeing that stuff. Like, I'm just now getting caught up with like wrestling back then and things, and seeing how it was in the environment that it was. I've seen like maybe a selected amount. Like when I got those wrestling DVDs, that would be the only time I'll see some like 90s wrestling match and stuff. And it was entertaining. Like, no, that was the thing. Like, when you had it where like Shane McMahon was in his prime and this dude is doing some of the most crazy top tier level matches, I'm saying like this guy, I remember there was this one match that he had with Kane, and oh my god, like that, I remember when Kane came out with his wrestling DVD, and it was that freaking what else, freaking Chris Jericho. I'm trying to think of some other matches. I mean, him and Undertaker, like those. I'm saying, like you have that, and you're trying to compete with AEW. Like obviously, like, and that's the thing where it's like WWE, they can take a wrestler and make him into a mainstream wrestler. Because I'm saying, like, you got where like WWE is like, obviously we all know that it's like the biggest wrestling company in the world. Like there's no other company in this world that's topping WWE. Like AEW, do not get me wrong, like they are there, they're right behind them, but they're not gonna be able to top them. Like unless they were to get all of like, and that's the thing though, where it's like a big wrestler could go over to AEW. I mean, look at Daniel Bryan. I have to say that was one of the biggest wrestlers that that WWE had in recent times. He went over to AEW. And I'm saying, like, I just feel like that it doesn't hit like how it did when he was with WWE. Like, obviously, he wasn't getting booked right when he was with WWE, like, in his, like few days that he was with them and stuff. But, yeah, it was like, did he get fired along? Because he might have got fired or released when they were doing, those budget, quote unquote budget cuts. Daniel Bryan, okay, well Bryan Danielson. I forgot about that. Bryan Danielson. That's one thing about WWE. They or AEW, they you can use your real name if you want to. They're not gonna be like, oh well, when you leave, you're gonna have to come up with a different name and stuff. But his contract. Oh yeah, so. His contract had expired by a match. He lost to Reigns in a championship versus career match, meaning that he was banished from SmackDown. This is Bryan's final match in WWE. Alright, so like they pretty much had rolled him off, and it was like, and if they were to bring him back, I don't feel like that he, especially dealing with like where Roman Reigns is at right now. See, like that's the thing with WWE, like when you got an unstoppable wrestler, they're gonna have it where these guys are unstoppable for a while, rather than like AEW. It's like, no, if we get like a talented wrestler, there ain't no way like they might be able to get or the top tier wrestler that's winning all the matches, yeah, he might win the match or she might win the match or whoever, but they're gonna have to put on a show. Like, it can't just be like, dominated, can't do nothing, unstoppable, and all this stuff. Like, they got Roman Reigns wrestling like how he would if he just got started off in WWE, where he's this dominant force and nobody can stop him and stuff. Like, that's where they got Roman Reigns at right now. And I think, yeah, the biggest, like, this up-and-coming pay-per-view with him and Brock Lesnar, like, I don't know, man. I think it's either going to end with, like, Brock Lesnar, Brock Lesnar winning, or Roman Reigns, like, just, finding a way around the, match to win, like, where he distracts Brock Lesnar or gets disqualified, something, but I personally don't think it's gonna be something where, like, it's like, he wins the match. I don't know, we'll just have to wait and see, I guess, but, anyways, yeah, I think with, getting back on the actual, like topic of discussion and things, but I know people will probably like ask me like what company would I rather work for, and I know a lot of people will probably think because how like I was kind of hyping up AEW, I would say AEW, and I honestly like it would take a lot of thinking because I'm like I want to like build that toughness. I feel like in AEW, I'm gonna have like some moments where it's like it's crazy, but I feel like if I really want like the spotlight to be on me, WWE is the way. Like I'm saying, I might get released after a couple of months, but no, I just feel like that WWE is like, that's where it's at. Like that's where I feel like the spotlight is huge. And I think like what I would do is, obviously pick the WWE contract, but I definitely will be contacting a lot of like AEW wrestlers for advice and things. I probably have ruined my chances with WWE, but like I'm saying, like, bro, that's freaking the industry. That is wrestling. Like I'm sorry, that there's other companies out there that exist and I'm gonna watch. Yeah, if you probably would have asked like 11 or 12-year-old me, I would have said WWE 100%, because I don't care about no other wrestling promotion besides WWE. Fam, I was trying to get hired when I was in middle school. But no, I'm saying though, like WWE got its thing going on, but AEW, they definitely got their thing going on. So there is a difference. You will have to watch it. Like, you could just tell by the environment. Like, and that's another thing where it's like with the fans, like talking on the fans. And I think Daniel Bryan kind of talked on it a little bit too. Like, the fans can get loud in WWE, but I feel like that the fans in AEW, like that's a different environment. Like that, I feel like that's what makes it different, is seeing like those two crowds and stuff. So, but anyways, and that being said, I will talk to y'all later. Thank you guys for watching and or listening. If you're viewing this on YouTube, make sure you like and subscribe. And if you're viewing this on the podcast streaming service, make sure you follow or subscribe, however it's set up. Make sure you subscribe to one of my 43 YouTube channels. Follow me on Twitter, TikTok, Twitch, and Instagram at TMossBoss. And make sure you follow my Facebook page at TMossBoss fan page. Also, if you're purchasing any tickets from SeatGeek, make sure you use my promo code TMossBoss. It went out $20 off your first purchase. And then that being said, I will talk to you guys later. Thank you guys for watching and or listening, and peace.